Minister, and you have confirmed that a World Bank team was recently here conducting interviews. Minister, I would have expected if a team from the World Bank is coming to offer guidance, then the first stop, or one of the first stops, should be to the opposition. This is a matter that transcends politics. The minister told me last week that when the team comes back, I'll be given an opportunity. I'll be given an opportunity. So, Madam Speaker, I say to the government, we are now in May, and the government is only in the preliminary stages of consultation. I repeat, this consultation should have started 2 years ago and completed by now. So let me be clear, Madam Speaker. The negotiations for a new JPSCO license is fundamental to our future.
Bless up, ABR family and viewers. Welcome back to the channel. It's your girl, Isabel Rose. And in this one, highlights from the sectoral debate that includes the opposition spokesperson on energy, Philip Paulwell. Philip Paulwell is basically concerned that the government has been dragging their feet on this JPSCO license negotiation that should have started some 2 years ago, and the government has just started negotiation. The licenses negotiation should continue in 2027, and if not negotiated on a better deal, then we could see JPSCO licensing being renewed as is. And so Philip Paulwell also gave some solutions to the government in order to ease the burden of these high energy costs on the people of Jamaica. We see where the government has initiated that they would have reduced the GCT on electricity to 7%, and we've seen that everyone right across the board will be taxed this 7%, except that they didn't even stated how long they will run this program for, and Paulwell is stating that this is another three-card trick. It's an election ploy.
At this point, Madam Speaker, the Jamaican people have rejected and dismissed any notion, any whispering of prosperity. They see the country heading in the wrong direction. And if prosperity were any further out of reach, we would need a telescope to spot it. The Jamaican people, having given this JLP government 2 terms to try to make them happy and bring them so-called prosperity, are disappointed and dissatisfied. They now want a change. A change that will give them greater power over their lives, a change that will see them as the center of all positive development, a change to a new government that cares for the people.
That's right.
And Madam Speaker, there are many reasons for this unhappiness. But for me today, I'm going to focus on one in particular: the high cost of living. This has been a feature of life for the past 9 years. And with the high cost of living comes stagnant income because our economy itself is not growing. Madam Speaker, a major factor driving both the high cost of living and the lack of growth is energy. The high cost of electricity has been a staple in Jamaica for the past 9 years.
Unfortunately.
Our consumers pay high bills at home and then pay higher prices for basic goods and services, again affected by the high price of electricity. Meanwhile, our economy limps along uncompetitive and weighed down by these costs. Madam Speaker, every year when I address this Parliament, I not only speak about the problems facing the energy sector, but I also provide proposals towards solutions. Yet my suggestions are largely ignored by the government. Thank God this is the final government 23 as leverage to start to effect some changes from then. I said so in 2023. I repeated last year. I even spelled out some of the specific things that they could do. For example, we have been fighting to get the operators in the special economic zone to be able to generate and provide their own electricity. I think this could have been achieved before if you're smart about it and if you negotiate well. So we are without that today. And of course, true to form, the advice and guidance was ignored. During the Standing Finance Committee earlier this year in February, I reminded everyone that on the 7th of July this year, the government must inform JPSCO of its intentions about the negotiations for a new license. Because if it doesn't, the license that currently exists will be renewed automatically. Automatically. The government responded by saying that the World Bank was going to be providing assistance. And I'm disappointed because after 9 years, the only thing this government has mastered is to outsource its homework. This is work that should have started in 2023 when I gave notice. Stakeholders have told me, Minister, and you have confirmed that the World Bank team was recently here conducting interviews. Minister, I would have expected if a team from the World Bank is coming to offer guidance, then the first stop, or one of the first stops, should be to the opposition. This is a matter that transcends politics. The minister told me last week that when the team comes back, I'll be given an opportunity. I'll be given an opportunity. So, Madam Speaker, I say to the government, we are now in May, and the government is only in the preliminary stages of consultation. I repeat, this consultation should have started 2 years ago and completed by now. I'm also very concerned, Madam Speaker, that the Energy Council, which was established in 2012 to address issues just like this, has not been convened to provide guidance. Minister, could you say, when you speak, what is the status of the Energy Council? Is this government committed to meaningful consultation with stakeholders in the sector? So let me be clear, Madam Speaker. The negotiations for a new JPSCO license is fundamental to our future, and especially crucial to the twin issues of cost of living and lack of growth. The situation is nothing like it was in 2001, and the minister keeps on saying that I was the one who signed the 2001 license. I was a part of the administration, so I can't deny responsibility, but I was not the minister, just to be clear. Right. So now, Madam Speaker, just as the previous administration, which we were a part of, was bold and visionary in negotiating better terms with cable and wireless in 2000, we too must be bold now in terms of JPS. If the World Bank had reached out to me, and when they do, I would have suggested the following areas for reform. Firstly, Madam Speaker, I think the time has passed when we should be granting 20-year license. Yeah. I think because of technology, we need now to look at what changes can happen in a life cycle of a license. And I don't believe that we should be contemplating licenses beyond 10 years. In fact, I would be satisfied with a 5-year license. Makes sense. Madam Speaker, I would also like to suggest to the Minister, in contemplating what to do in July of this year, that this right of first refusal that the JPSCO now has, which gives them the right to put on new generation without contemplating other sources, other suppliers, that that right be abolished and that all future generation be done by international competitive tendering. And thirdly, Madam Speaker, I think now is the time, having lost the opportunity before, to allow the special economic zone operators to be able to provide their own electricity and to supply within the zone. I believe after this, you're going to see exponential growth in the area of economic zones. I also want, Minister, and even though you brought regulations here recently, I believe that JPSCO has to be forced to come to the table to implement the wheeling arrangements that are now in regulations, but they have not been forced to implement. And also, Madam Speaker, we believe that the time has come for a revolution in solar rooftop provisioning, and that can be a tremendous source of power to our people. And I'll come back to that later on. And also, as you contemplate the new license, there is need, Madam Speaker, for greater consumer rights measures to be in place. For example, the removal of exemption of liability, which I believe are provisions that are unconscionable. And we also have to have more elaborate guarantees for service standard.
This government doesn't take any talk from the opposition. They don't want to listen to the opposition any at all. And if they're not listening to the opposition, then in turn they won't listen to the people. And so I'm wondering if they are starting hobbling around in the year of a general election to make it seem as if they're doing something, then they ought to be moving at a slow pace because they're trying to do so much thing because they're seeing that it is down to crunch time. Now, ABR family, I really want to hear from you. What says you? I do believe that we should have been gearing towards some form of solar, energy by now, moving with the advanced times, and, to ease some of the high electricity and energy costs of the people. The people are burdened. People have to be paying for high cost of living and to also be paying high electricity bill. What says you? Maybe you want to say in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. On the road to 30K and beyond, help me to get there. Get this video to at least 6,000 likes. Stay tuned for more videos. Stay tuned for more updates. Big up on yourself. Happy Thursday.